5 dangerous medications seniors should avoid and natural alternatives. You know, as we get a little older, it's amazing how many little pills can end up in our medicine cabinet. Some of them are lifesavers, no doubt about it. But others, well, they might be doing more harm than good. And that's something I really want to talk to you about today. Have you ever taken a medication and just felt off afterward? Maybe a little foggy, more tired than usual, or even dealing with new aches and pains you didn't have before. It happens more often than you'd think, especially after 60. Our bodies change, and sometimes medications that worked fine in our 50s can start causing problems later on. The good news? There are often safer, natural alternatives that can help without the unwanted side effects. So today, we're going to talk about 5 medications that seniors should be cautious with, and what you can try instead. This isn't about scaring you. It's about empowering you with knowledge so you can have those important conversations with your doctor. Now, before we dive in, let me be clear. Never stop taking a prescribed medication without talking to your healthcare provider first. This video is just a starting point, a way to help you ask the right questions. All right, let's get into it. First up, sleeping pills. If you've ever struggled with sleepless nights, you're not alone. Millions of seniors rely on prescription sleep aids like Ambien or over-the-counter options like diphenhydramine. That's the active ingredient in many PM pain relievers. But here's the thing. These medications can come with some serious risks as we age. For one, they can leave you feeling groggy the next day, which increases the risk of falls. And falls, as you probably know, are a major concern for seniors. Beyond that, some sleep medications have been linked to memory issues over time. So what can you try instead? Well, let's start with the basics. A good bedtime routine. Dim the lights an hour before bed, avoid screens, and try a cup of chamomile tea. Magnesium supplements can also help. Many people are deficient, and it's a natural muscle relaxer. And if you haven't tried tart cherry juice, it's worth a shot. It's packed with melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. Next, proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, for heartburn. Medications like omeprazole, Prilosec, or esomeprazole, Nexium, are incredibly common for treating acid reflux. And hey, when heartburn strikes, relief is all we want. But long-term use of these drugs can lead to some unexpected problems, like weaker bones, lower magnesium levels, and even a higher risk of infections. Now, if you've been on these for years, don't panic, but it might be worth exploring other options. For occasional heartburn, try chewing gum after meals. It boosts saliva production, which neutralizes acid. Aloe vera juice, yes, the same stuff you use for sunburns, can soothe irritation. And believe it or not, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water before meals sometimes does the trick. It sounds backward, but low stomach acid can actually cause reflux in some people. Of course, if you've got severe symptoms, talk to your doctor before making any changes. But for many folks, small tweaks can make a big difference. Now, before we move on to the next medications, I want to pause and say this. If any of this resonates with you, or if you've had experiences with these medications, good or bad, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Sharing what's worked or hasn't could really help others watching. All right, let's keep going. The third medication to be cautious with is benzodiazepines. You might know them as Valium, Xanax, or Ativan, medications often prescribed for anxiety, insomnia, or even muscle spasms. Now, these drugs can be helpful for short-term use, but here's the problem. They're not meant for long-term use, especially after 60. Why? Because as we age, our bodies process these drugs more slowly. That means they can linger in your system, leading to next-day drowsiness, confusion, and, again, a higher risk of falls. Some studies even suggest a possible link between long-term benzodiazepine use and an increased risk of dementia. Now, if you've been on these for a while, don't stop cold turkey. That can be dangerous. But talk to your doctor about safer alternatives. For anxiety, mindfulness and gentle yoga can work wonders. If sleep is the issue, we've already talked about natural sleep aids. And for muscle tension, A warm Epsom salt bath, thanks to the magnesium, or even regular stretching can make a big difference. Fourth on our list, certain pain relievers, also known as NSAIDs. Ibuprofen, naproxen, even some prescription anti-inflammatories. These are go-to drugs for aches and pains, right? But for seniors, they can come with hidden risks. Long-term use can irritate the stomach lining, leading to ulcers or even kidney damage in some cases. Now, I'm not saying never take them. Sometimes you need relief. But if you're reaching for them daily, it's worth exploring other options. For joint pain, turmeric with black pepper, to boost absorption, is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Ginger tea can ease muscle soreness, and don't underestimate the power of a simple heating pad or topical arnica gel. For chronic pain, physical therapy or even acupuncture might be worth a try. And here's a tip many overlook. Dehydration can worsen pain, so drinking enough water is a simple but effective step. Now, let's talk about the fifth medication. But before we do, I want to share something personal. A few years ago, my mom, who's in her late 70s, was put on a new prescription. Within weeks, she started feeling dizzy and just not herself. Turns out it was a side effect that hit seniors harder. She switched to a lower dose, and it made all the difference. That's why I'm so passionate about this topic, because sometimes small changes can bring back your energy, your clarity, your joy. So the fifth medication to be cautious with is anticholinergics. This is a tricky one because it's not a single drug, but a class of medications. Everything from some allergy pills, like Benadryl, to certain antidepressants, bladder control medications, and even older Parkinson's drugs. They all work by blocking a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which can lead to dry mouth, constipation, blurred vision, and over time, memory problems. If you're taking something in this category, don't panic, but do ask your doctor, is this still the best choice for me? For allergies, a nasal saline rinse or local honey, if allergies are pollen-related, might help. For overactive bladder, pelvic floor exercises or even cutting back on caffeine can reduce symptoms. I know this can feel overwhelming, like, how am I supposed to remember all this? That's why I always say, just pick one thing. Maybe today, you'll look up that sleep aid you've been taking. Or next doctor's visit, you'll ask about your heartburn meds. Small steps lead to big changes. And speaking of changes, there's one more big category we need to discuss. The one that surprises most people. But we'll save that for the next part because it's important. And I want you to have time to let all this sink in. Alright, let's talk about the fifth medication. And this one might surprise you. It's statins. Now, before anyone clicks away, I'm not saying statins are bad. For many people, especially those with heart disease, they're lifesavers. But here's what's concerning. As we get older, our bodies change, and sometimes the risks outweigh the benefits. Statins are prescribed to lower cholesterol, but for seniors without a history of heart attacks or strokes, the evidence isn't as clear-cut. These drugs can cause muscle pain, memory fog, and even increase diabetes risk in some cases. And after 75, the research gets even murkier. So, what can you do instead? First, ask your doctor, do I still need this? If your cholesterol is only mildly high, lifestyle changes might be enough. Try adding more fiber. Oats, beans, and flax seeds are great. Omega-3s from fish or algae oil can help lower triglycerides. And if you're not already walking, even 20 minutes a day can improve your heart health. Here's the thing. No one's saying you have to ditch your meds, but you do deserve to know your options. Because the goal isn't just living longer, it's feeling better while you do it. Now let's take a step back. We've covered a lot today. Sleep pills, heartburn meds, anxiety drugs, pain relievers, and statins. And if you're thinking, wow, I'm on 3 of these, don't panic. Knowledge is power. The next step? Have that conversation with your doctor. Bring a list of your meds and ask, is this still necessary? Are there safer alternatives? Can we try a lower dose? You'd be amazed how often a small tweak, or even stopping a pill you no longer need, can bring back your energy, your sharpness, your joy. I'll leave you with this. My neighbor Helen was on 7 medications at 82. She felt exhausted all the time. After reviewing them with her doctor, she cut back to 4, and within weeks she was gardening again, laughing more, even traveling to see her grandkids. That's what this is all about. So, tell me in the comments, have you ever switched a medication and felt better? Or maybe you found a natural remedy that works for you? Let's help each other out. And if this video resonated with you, hit like and subscribe for more honest chats about thriving after 60. Remember, you're never too old to feel vibrant. Here's to taking charge of your health, one small step at a time. Until next time, stay well and keep shining.